I'm Katrina, and this is Sew and Tare, and we have hatching quail. This is my first time hatching in this incubator. It is the Brincia Ovation 56EX, so it has automatic egg turner and also automatic humidity. So this is my first time hatching in it. I see some issues with it. I'm wondering if they forgot to put some parts. But I will discuss that later at a later date once I've hatched several times in this so I can evaluate it further. But I did put in several eggs. I didn't put in as many as you can. And I also put in eggs that were older than 7 days old. So I wanted to talk about how to get the best bang for your buck, basically, for hatching. So when you're hatching and you're collecting your own eggs, there's some things to consider. So one, are they actually viable? So you can crack open some of the eggs and see if you see there's a circle and a dot on the egg. That circle is going to make sure that you know that you have some viability. Another thing to consider is you should be collecting your quail eggs up to 7 days. After 7 days, you can still collect them. It's fine. If you would like to fill up an incubator, just know that the last 7 days you collect are going to be the most viable eggs. And as the older your eggs get, after 7 days, they have less potential, less viability for hatching. So that's what I did here. My girls were coming out of this weird thing where they stopped laying with all the storms and they had multiple factors that made them stop laying. Molting, storms, and I think there was also a predator around. So anyway, so I had very few ladies laying at once, so I just figured, I'm just gonna go further and see what happens. And I haven't counted them yet. They're going to come out of the incubator in the morning. And so you guys watch for a short in the morning, and there'll probably be some videos coming up of them as little babies. The third thing to look at is how old are your birds? Because the older your birds are, the less viable their eggs. Males should be switched out every 6 to 9 months. My males are pretty dang old, so they are really old. I expected the hatch rate, just because of that, to be much less than I would normally expect. And so those are the third thing. So are they actually viable? Do you have 7 days worth of eggs, or are you going further? And then how old are your quail? And so your females will be fine, like up to a year, then change out the breeders. So I actually have males that are adults right now from the hatch in December that are going to be replacing my males, which are the daddies of these guys. And so I will have new blood soon. Something else to consider is, do you have light on your birds? So if you don't have light, you do not have breeding behavior. Now, what does light on your birds mean? Light on your birds basically means about 16 hours of light. Caturnic quail lay eggs from 14 hours to 18 hours, somewhere in there. 16 is a good number to go from, and you'll have them laying eggs. So if they are laying eggs, if they are active, if the males are active, then they have enough light. If you have less than about 16 hours of light, adding supplemental light, which we talked about, I have some videos on, I'll put a link up here, then if you can add supplemental light to get that. Now, right now in the northern hemisphere, we are coming into summer, and so we are, where I am, we're not quite there. We're about to hit that kind of 14-hour mark of the low end, and it will take some time for your birds to adjust and get into the breeding mood with that extra light. In the southern hemisphere, you are going into winter, and that means you may be losing light, and your birds maybe are not laying as much as they used to, and it will drop off. So adding supplemental light now for southern hemisphere people is potentially important. Now you can let them go through the winter without, and they'll be completely fine. You just won't get eggs. So thinking about that, we think of northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. If you are near the equator, you may not ever have to put additional light on your birds. You may have all the hours you need because you don't have that swing in daylight hours that the you know, further away from the equator you go, the more swing you have between summer and winter. So that's something to think about. A lot of times we say these general rules, you know, here's what you do in winter, here's what you do in summer, but you have to know where you are on the globe, and even where you, like if you're in the United States, where are you in the United States? You know, and that's really easy to look up. Just go on the internet and look up sunrise, sunset table. So just sunrise, sunset table, just those 3 words, and it will give you 2 different light scales. So sunrise and sunset, and then there's also something called civil twilight. And so you'll get basically the first light, which comes before the sun actually comes up, and then the last light, which is after sunset. So it's actually lighter for longer than sunrise and sunset. So you do have the extra buffer. So something to experiment with. If you haven't experimented with that yet, just go online, kind of check it out, see when you're going to need extra light, and see when you won't need the extra light anymore. And you'll be in a better place to understand exactly what your situation is. So, I will try and get a close-up here. It's a little difficult to see them well because they have a whole bunch of fluff on the clear part, and the clear part is rounded, so it's kind of hard to get in there without distorting the view. But we'll try and give you a view, and definitely give you guys a view tomorrow with at least a short, and which is today. It will be today, but it's tomorrow for me. And then, you know, you guys are going to see these for a while, right? All right. Hi, babies. Let's take you in. Thank you for watching. I hope this helped you out on your quail journey and adventure and all of that. And if you liked the video, please hit the like, and have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching. Happy birthday, babies. Nice and fluffy.